What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Panda here, and as promised, we are bringing you a Gear Raid 2 stage, realistically stage 19, 20, and 21 guide. The strategy doesn't really change. It's just a matter of gear and, making sure you get that timing correct. So we are going to be basically reacting to me clearing Gear Raid 2 Stage 20 for the first time. I did this on stream earlier today, and I kind of want to just go through. We'll pause it a couple times. We'll discuss what it is exactly that is happening, and hopefully you'll be able to learn from this and be able to gain a little bit of progress on your own. So guys, this is me entering straight in. I want to quickly go over the team. So I know it's kind of hard to see because of my face here and this Dymos here, but ultimately what we are doing is a Volka cheese. So if you don't already know, a Volka at A1 reduces allies' revive time by 25%. Which makes it very easy for you to be able to place a unit, remove the unit, and get the unit back in time for certain things, such as the big AoE that this boss on Gear Raid 2 does. You can remove your champions, let the AoE go down, and then place new champions, and the other champions you need will be back up in time to repeat the process for the second part of the fight. So we're using Volka here. We are using Olog as our main tank. We're using Livian as a secondary tank. And personally, I think Livian is actually really, really good in Gear Raid 2. And the reason is because she has the ability to stun several opponents. And if you stun the big golem guys that have the hammer, the charging hammer ability, it actually breaks them out of that and they won't hit you, which I think is actually ridiculously powerful. A little bit of a secret cheese there with Livian. So definitely one of the highlights was learning that she can do that. Really, really powerful. And we have Vortex here, of course. Vortex is just there to heal. We have Decimus. Decimus is there because of his ability to not die. This champion could also be Baron. You could also run both Baron and Decimus and then make this fight actually quite a bit easier in comparison to how I did it, not having a Baron. Then we have Abomination. Abomination is just there, again, kind of to be a warm body and do a little bit of damage towards the end of the fight. Wrath, pretty much the same thing. We have the Lord bonus for our Hats, who's our main DPS in this fight, but also he is a little bit of a DPS for the boss at the end of the fight. And then over here on the left, you can't quite see her because my face is covering her, but this is Narvi. Narvi is the blue fighter who costs 10. I have her in a rapidity set to make her cost 9, and she has an ultimate that gives cost, and it's very helpful to get some extra cost whenever you can, so we're using her to kind of generate cost at the start of the fight. So we'll just go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to pause periodically. You'll see here I place Narvi first, followed by Abomination second. The reason why we do this is because we want Narvi to start charging that ultimate up as soon as possible so that we can remove her right after casting her ultimate so she doesn't get hit by the giant AoE. We place Abomination because Abomination needs to stop these guys right here from pushing in any further. And so because of that, we need to place him down, otherwise they're going to run right past, and then we won't be able to DPS with Hats. Then, of course, we play Hats. She is our DPS. This realistically could be any DPS. Hats, I think, does a very good job because she has a very quick ultimate. A lot of the times you'll end up having to use Laurel to boost Rage with this strategy if you don't have someone like a Hats, but it is basically the same concept. So you'll see here we start DPSing down with our Hats. The big thing here was making sure to hold the Hats ultimate until both of these guys were in range. Then you're going to see that we really quickly remove our Abomination right before he gets hit. We remove our Hats as soon as he dies, and we hold on to Narvi until the ultimate is ready. As soon as the ultimate's ready, we pop it and remove Narvi so that she does not die to the AoE from the Golem. So timing here is critical. You'll see here that we even get to the point where we put it on 1x speed, and that's because the timing of these things, such as the Decimus drops, are very, very strict. If you don't drop it at the right time, Decimus will die early and you'll have to restart the run. If you drop it too late, then the mob will run past Decimus and you'll have a lot of issues. So one of the big things that I do, there are certain cues. The first cue here is when he goes and smacks the ground. When the boss smacks the ground, if you have it on 1x, you'll see his hands hit the ground, and then you'll see a big, like, flash of yellow light. That's my cue for placing Decimus. And then my second cue is coming up here in just a second, which is for removing Decimus. You'll see that the second guy runs up to him. We have a basic attack. Then you'll see a little bit of a recoil, and then the health bar will show up. As soon as that health bar shows up, you can remove Decimus, and you'll see I removed him very quickly, right? Then the second part of this is right here. You need to make sure that the mobs, as they run, right, you cannot place your secondary champion until you see both of these guys right here in that run animation, which is where you see the little wind kind of being pushed behind them. If they are not in this animation, they will just start to basic attack your tank, and we don't want that. We want them to die from running in to our tank, because it allows us to deal quick damage and not have to worry about DPSing them down later. So you'll see that I wait until they both have that animation. I drop, they hit my tank, he survives. Then we go ahead and drop down our full roster of people here. So we drop down our Vortex to keep us alive. We drop down our Dolores. Then we drop down our hats, and we follow up with our Wrath. Now the goal here is just to block these guys right here from running into the portals long enough for us to build up to Dolores and Hats ultimate. And then our Vortex here is basically just to tank up these big rock throws so that our Dolores and Hots don't get kind of screwed up. So you'll see here, we keep this on 1 times because, again, the timings here are critical. We pop our Dolores ultimate, and as soon as they are in range, we pop that ultimate, and we start removing people as quickly as possible because, again, timings are critical. For this strategy to work, you really need to have the timings. Now you'll notice here that I paused because this was actually attempting a little bit of a new strat, and I wanted to make sure that I did this at the right timing. And so I'm pausing here. I'm talking to my chat. They were kind of helping me through this. Again, huge shout out to you guys who helped me with this. And then you'll see here, we're going to have basically the same thing happen. However, the difference here is we are going to have a wave of ads on both sides. This is the part of the fight that becomes much more difficult and why you'd really want to have someone such as a Baron. However, we found a way to handle that. We drop down our Decimus, and then we use another warm body. And this warm body will proc and hit this guy right here. And then we will follow up by placing a secondary warm body in the form of Abomination, who's going to not die from the initial hit, get a nice big heal for the second body to hit. Again, we're watching for this animation right here. As soon as he charges and that health bar shows up, we can remove Decimus. And then same thing over here with the Abomination. Now, unfortunately, the way this works, we're not actually able to remove Abomination, but we are able to get everyone dropped down and get some pretty awesome progression in through the fight. So now, instead of having Wrath here, we're going to have Livian here. The reason I did this is because these guys actually hit really hard, and Livian is vital for this strategy because, again, she can stun these guys. Guys, my Livian is 5-star. She's not even built that well, okay? She's 5-star, but because she stuns them out of their Hammer Strike, she barely takes damage. Like, I mean, really barely takes any damage because of that stun. The big damage here is from those Hammer Strikes. So then you'll see us do the same thing again. We pop our Dolores ultimate, we wait until everyone is in range, and then we pop our Hots, and we start to remove people very quickly. Now, an important piece of information here, don't remove Hots till everything is dead. If you remove Hots before something is dead, you have to start the run over. It's very, very important. So you'll see here, as soon as the last person dies, I remove my Hots, and then we sit here and wait. Now it comes down to just one final phase of timing those drops on Decimus, Narvi, Abomination, and then Wrath and Volka in this case to kill off these rollies, and then it's just the boss. So you'll see we do the exact same timing with the drops. We then drop our Abomination to handle this first part, and then we'll sit here and we will watch our Decimus one final time to take the second hit here from the rollie. As soon as that health bar shows up, you'll see we quickly remove Decimus, and this is because it's very, very important that we have enough cost for this final phase. We're going to drop our Volka, drop our Wrath, then we can remove our Volka to get that cost back. And now we're in the final part of the fight. Now this part's very important because you need to time this properly. If you haven't done this fight before, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the fight. And in this last phase, this big golem guy will do a large AoE. he will stop doing this AoE when there are no more enemies on the field, which for us would be allies. So an easy way to do this is kind of the same way we've been cheesing other things, and that is with Decimus. Decimus has the ability to delay the boss long enough for us to get the cost and the time we need to place down our tank and our healer. That is all we need. We're going to place our Decimus down. He's going to tank the boss several times. He's going to do his big AoE. Decimus is going to die, and you'll see here that we have 17 cost for him and 18 cost for him, which means that right now I'm actually calculating if I'm going to have enough cost. I figure out I am going to have enough cost. As soon as Decimus dies, you'll see that we place Vortex right after the first AoE, and then we immediately drop our Olog right afterwards. And at this point, the rest is history. You're going to place your Dolores, you're going to place your Hots, and you're basically just kind of have to kill the boss now. As long as your Olog is tanky enough and your Vortex can heal enough, you will beat this. He doesn't do anything else for the rest of the fight. Now, you can also do kind of what I did here, which was dropping Wrath right over here in this left slot in order to deal a little bit more damage. Some people will bring people like Zillitude to do some damage to your tier, or Arrogance, or any of those other fighters. But you'll see we are able to basically slowly burn the boss down at this point. It's just a matter of time. There are some strats where you can place a character in this slot right here where the boss is because of the way you place. For some reason, though, he actually, when I placed my character here, which you'll see me do here in just a moment, when I placed my character here, he turns around and starts punching that guy, which I didn't think was supposed to happen. So I'm not sure if maybe I did that part wrong, but he does turn around and smacks our Abomination instead of our Olog, which was a little unfortunate, but it didn't affect our ability to do the run at all. And yeah, this was how we cleared Gear Raid 20. And I hope this helped you guys, because I know one of the things that a lot of people, you know, really have problems with is the correct timings for certain things. You know, you have the champions, you have the gear, you know, you have all the stuff that you need, but you're just not able to get those timings right. And so I'm hoping that something like this will help. If you like this kind of content, you think it's a good way to describe things, please let me know, because I would like to continue to do this, and I'm being able to take, you know, these highlights from my stream and give you guys that information. I think is something that I think you guys would enjoy. It's something that I enjoy, because again, my whole goal here is to give you guys information and help you guys progress in the game as quickly as I have. So if you liked the video, please make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to leave a comment down below with how close to A1 Volka are you? And when you get A1 Volka, are you going to try this method? Maybe you already have A1 Volka and you've never thought about it. Check it out, give it a try. You might find yourself progressing a lot in Gear Raid 2 because of it. We did end up going and attempting 21 after this, and unfortunately our hats is not quite strong enough, but we will probably be doing that here shortly. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can see all of my content when it goes live, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.